This is the R&D of Zoe. It's our first part of our development of this project. So we started working with a number of different organisations, and we kind of sat down and talked to them about the climate and ecological emergency. And really we were focusing on how to bring biodiversity loss into the conversation, by really kind of looking at not only the stories of the people around the world that are being affected by climate change, but what's happened in the area that they live in that's caused that change to happen. And really focus on stories where people are doing these amazing things in their local area to work together with their ecosystems to regenerate them.
Wu Ti-Kien. She left a respected teaching post at Hanoi University of Agriculture to look after her nation's forests and biodiversity.
Barra and I have worked together for about 7 years. Last Theatre as a whole, but the Enlightenment Cafe being a series of shows where we work with experts and deal with matters such as climate change. And so me and Barra sat down and designed the shape of the show and how to facilitate best telling the story of Zoe.
We start the show by giving the audience a sense of the place. So they're in Zoe, which is an organisation that collects climate stories from around the world, and there's two reasons that they do that. The first is to give people a glimpse into the reality of climate change, and the second is to allow those communities on the front line to exchange knowledge. So they collect these stories and share them between communities to allow that knowledge sharing to happen.
There's certain elements in the show that are really quite outrageous, and it makes people laugh, but it also makes people think. It gets a serious point across.
We wanted to create something that was tourable, that could grow and shrink to multiple different kinds of spaces. We also wanted to create a show that could be an interactive installation and also a live performance. So we're really exploring lots of different ways that we can communicate this information. So outside the installations are that beginning of how do we have this conversation through installation artworks. How do we have this conversation as part of a live show? We're really exploring how we can work with museums, how we can work with schools, how we can work with universities, how we can work with art centres on this topic, and kind of growing and shrinking the size of the production to fit the opportunity to have this conversation.